Well, hello everybody, and welcome to an MGT tips and tricks on how to set up your base. Now, as you can see here, we are at a church in a random location, which I will show you later in the video. I've gone and gotten myself a prowler that just happened to be free out in the woods, and a gear crate. There are many different ways to get the gear crates on the map. You can just take a look and head over there and find a gear crate. Now, I highly suggest getting them because they give you all the basic starter materials for building a base and to protect it. So I'm gonna hop on over to the trader and go purchase myself a flag, and I'll talk to you in a minute. Well, I just wanted to pop in here, and we're gonna get started at looking at flags and the basics of building. We're at the trader here in what I believe is called La Piña, and on MGT servers. So a lot of problems have been coming up lately with newer players coming to MGT and not knowing exactly how to get their flag started. So what you'll need to get started is about 10k to deal with the purchase of a flag territory kit. And what you'll need to do on here is go to the office, and then you'll want to purchase a territory. And as you notice, it costs around 10,000 pop tabs. Now it's about 10,000 pop tabs per level up. First of all, you'll end up clicking the purchase, and you'll end up with a flag in your backpack. This is your first step in getting a territory or making a base on the MGT servers. So remember, 10,000 pop tabs, and you're off and running. So I'm gonna fly over to my location where I decided to put my base on this map, and then we'll start discussing a little bit about the flags. Well, okay, we've made it to the destination where I've decided to set up my base. Now I want to quickly talk about placement of flag. Okay, so on this server, there is a rule for Livonia, which is basically you are not allowed to build within sight of a trader up to 1,000 meters. For not in sight, meaning line of sight to a trader, it is 500 meters. So the position that I picked is without line of sight to a trader. And what does it mean by trader? Okay, so when you open the map, you're going to find a couple different icons on the MGT servers. One being here, you can see Commander Turk is moving towards the main trader hub, which is the pop tab over there. You'll have an aircraft emblem, which this is the airfield trader. And then you'll have the Con Air trader, which is currently here, which is another aircraft trader, but it'll also be marked as, it says air trader, con trader. The aircraft trader or the air trader here is within a trader zone, not a safe zone. You're not allowed to retreat there under combat. Remember that. So I'm going to add that tip in every time. It is, however, a quote-unquote safe zone / Then you have the con traders and the bandit traders up here to your upper right, which is a hand grenade. And those are not safe zones or trader zones. So that means that they can be active with players that can kill you. Expect it. These suckers that you would can see over here with the black lines around them, the circles, that is the Bambi zone / spawn-in areas. And as you can see over the map, there are quite a few. Also, down here in this bottom southern region is what is a cement mixer area. And again, you're not allowed to build within the same distance of that as it would be for a trader. Now, DB has set it up pretty much in the aspect of, for the most part, no build area. So if you can't put down a flag, you can't put down a base. That pretty much solves it. because it'll have it set to like 1,000 meters out to where nothing can be built, and it'll tell you when you try to build something. Now in my case here, I'm choosing this specific town, Glinska, and one of the interesting parts about this area is there's multiple traders. Now I wanted something that was a little bit more central, something that was easier for me to get to. Plus, I kind of like the church in the town. So one of the first things that you want to do when scouting out your area is you want to set up points similar to this spot for a waypoint. Now I'm going to delete this one, and then we're going to run over to the church real quick, and I want to kind of show you where I'm putting my base at the moment. As you can see, it's a little bit dark out tonight with probably a chance of falling Bambis. I tried to get it into the daylight. Towards the end of the server on MGT Livonia, it goes dark for the last hour. Now there is a vote that you can cast, which I've already casted, so to have a full night or full day, and then it's about 898 cycles until you can revote again, or seconds, depending on how you look at it. So now this is the location of the base that I chose, and it is the church in the center of the town. Now what I want to do is place the flag in a safe place and then cover it, or at least, you know, be able to get to a point where I'll enjoy it. We are becoming the peasantry of the Godfather, and since I've been known as the Godfather on this server, and I'm going to be placing my flag in here. As you can see, I already kind of prepped the area with a safe and checked around to see what I can build in, what I can't build in, that sort of thing, which we'll get into here in a second. So, well, as you can see, the position is sound. The flag won't be obstructed. It's clear. I'll be able to pray here. So let me do a little quick setup here, and I'll jump right back to you guys. Alright guys, I'm back here to talk at you. Now, as before, I went back to the map, and as you can see here, I'm pretty much standing outside the church. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to stand in this location, which is roughly about where I'm going to put the flag. One of the rules on MGT when placing a flag or placing a base is you don't want to place the flag inside a texture. Basically the rule is no textures. You know, if you place it in a building, as long as the flag's exposed and available to get to, that's just fine. You know, but the problem being is that you don't want the ability for people to come in here and take your flag, but at the same time, putting a flag in a texture, it means a tree, a wall, you know, anything that the flag can sit inside of, even if it's destructible or non-destructible, it doesn't matter. The flag is not allowed to be in a texture, period. Now, there are a few exceptions, and I will get into that as we're starting to put the flag down and make some quick, simple builds here. Now, I'm not going to show you how I'm going to protect this flag, because those can be trade secrets and people can use that against you, and so forth. So what I'm going to do here is now quickly look at the map. So again, I want to come over here and I want to stand. So let's talk about placement. So my placement's a little precarious, but it is a legal placement. So we're going to go to the map. As you can locate here, I'm standing here in the church at the base of the flag. Now, the distance between the base of the flag and the trader, the closest trader, cannot exceed the requirements for MGT. So let me mark here. Now you want to zoom in. You want to place shift and left mouse to get your marker up. So you get the distance marker up. to the trader, and that'll give you your first distance to the Conair trader. So that's the first one I want to double check. The second one I want to double check is over here, and I want to do the same thing. Center of the circle, because that's what matters. Do the same thing. Left shift, left mouse. So now I'm going to pull out, and I'm going to go over here to this banded trader, and again do the same thing. Scope in on it and get my distances. So now make sure I got where my flag is, and okay. So now you can see the distances to each trader, right? Okay, so if let's first say right now I cannot see the bandit trader over there, which is my 1,000 mark in the distance, which means that the distance that I can build away from the bandit trader is 500 meters. So right now I'm good. I look over at the regular trader, and I'm too low. I can't see it. The distance from that trader is again a 500 meters, but as you can see here, I'm 1,600 meters, so I'm well within the safe zone again for getting to that aspect of that trader. And then the bandit trader over there, which is 1,600 meters, and again I'm within the distance of the bandit trader well in advance. I cannot see it from here. It's iffy, but remember the idea is the rule basically designates to seeing the trader inside. And again, for this one, even if I was able to see it at 1,000 meters, I'm still well safe from that bandit trader. Going back to the map, that in itself right there pretty much clears me to be able to place the base at this location. Now what I'm going to show you is I'm going to run upstairs real quick, and one of the major rules when placing a flag is the difference between line of sight and actual viewage. Now the maximum height for a base on the MGT servers is 43 meters, and in some aspects it's based on the ground, some aspects it's based on the base of the flag. My suggestion to you is to build it based on the base of the flag, and you can never go wrong. The building aspect to MGT server is based on a sphere centralized in the middle of the flag. Now I'm up here in a tower, and why am I up here in a tower? Well, I'm 1,000 meters from the Conair trader, the bandit air trader, as we call it. And it's kind of sketchy, but this is basically where the sketchy and differences play out. I am exactly 1,000 meters from roughly where my flag is going to be and where my base pieces are going to be. Now I'm up in the air, let's say about 15 meters, 20 meters, let's say, at this point, and I still cannot see the bandit trader. So at this point, my distance to the bandit trader, for rule's sake, is 500 meters. Even if I was closer, it'd be 500 meters. Now, if I were 500 meters away from the Conair trader, let's say, somewhere in that region, right there where my marker is, then I'd be pushing a chance of getting a sign or a chance for my base to be deleted, because of the fact that the flag can go up 43 meters into the air and potentially see the bandit trader location from the base. Now from my base, being that I'm already 15 meters up roughly, maybe 20, or at least my base location, I won't be able to see the bandit trader. Even if I go to the maximum height that I can at 43 meters, I will not be able to see the bandit Conair trader. So now I'm capable of staying and building this base and knowing with regards that I will be okay. Now there are two aspects to that as well. If you keep your base below the maximum height where you cannot see the bandit trader, then it reverts down to 500 meters. Now, this is again another kind of sketchy situation, because the thing is you could potentially build up and see the bandit trader and then be reported on the server, or the server admins may come along and say, no, you have the potential chance of building higher, because one, they may not know you, may not see what you're doing, or they'll do random spot checks. Now, I follow the rules very strictly. I do my best, and I try to run around and enforce the rules on other players as well, because I believe that we all have a right to play the game fairly and have some fun and not really too much troll. So I'm going to stop here with this explanation, and let me get prepared to put out a flag, and I'll talk to you about that next, and then how the flag system works with regard to this. But just remember, it's 500 meters non-visual to a trader or a bandit trader or concrete mixer. It is 1,000 meters they have to be away if you can see the bandit trader, air trader, or other. And again, most of the time Dave will have those areas marked out on the map where they cannot build. So I'm gonna go into my inventory here, and as you can see, I have the territory flag kit that you saw me purchase over at the trader post, and we're gonna double click on that with the double left click, and then you're gonna come on down here and you're gonna hit the construct button. And then what is gonna happen here is you're gonna need to select the flag that you want. You're gonna need to select the put the name in and select your name. So let's see, what do I want to do? Usually I've been using multitudes of flags over the years, and I should actually just put in a flag for my own channel. However, you know, most of the time I think I'll just go with the US flag. So we'll see if we can find that here real quick, and then I'll name it. So I've selected my flag, as you can see by highlighting it. And then I'm going to come up here and select in the box and then type in the name. I'm going to call it the Godfather's Peasantry. I wonder if that'll work. We'll go with the Godfathers, because sometimes, now when doing names, a lot of times the dots don't always work all the time. So well, let's give it a shot this first time. Make it proper. So the Godfather's Peasantry. And you want to, after you're done typing in your name and selecting your flag, then just go ahead and hit the setup button. Failed to place flag? Invalid something or other. Okay. So that probably was the invalid character that was going on in there. So we'll just do it again. Like I said, you'll have to play with it depending on how you want to add hyphens and all that stuff. So we'll just go with easy, the Godfather's Peasantry. Select the American flag and do the setup. As you can see here, it pops up the flag in the background, and now right now it's kind of popping in and out because it's interacting with the texture. The second thing is this: new territories have protection from base rating from next restart as long as they stay level 1 for just over 1 week if you have been on the server for less than 1 month. Now, that is pretty much for new people. So if you've been here, even if you've been here on the server years ago, you won't get this protection. For me, I obviously don't get this protection. Obviously, I'm going to bump the flag level up to like level 2, level 3 right away, because I want the parts and I want to be able to build within a certain radius. Also, it does, even if you haven't been here, and this does get flag protection, the instant you put down the flag, it is vulnerable for being stolen. So once you put a flag down, if the server hasn't restarted, as you can see in the bottom right hand on that blue bar, the information bar, it says there's 3 hours and 36 minutes left of the server. So it would be, the base would be rateable for that period of time, just to let you know. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. And now you can see our flagpole out here. And I'm going to zoom in and just take a quick look at it. And then take a quick screenshot, because I want to just show you guys real quick. So, to talk about the flagpole, at the bottom of the flagpole here is a thick portion, and including up to the pulley. Now, under the current policies, regulations, and so forth, there is nothing that is allowed to clip into that section of the flagpole. Period. Zip, zero, zilch. Nothing is allowed to touch it. Also, as I mentioned earlier, you cannot place your flag inside a texture. Period. It can't be here, it can't be there, can't be anywhere. No. No flags, nowhere, no how in any texture. Now, I did say there was a slight exception to this. And it's a kind of a builders and creations exception. And it is relative to change, and it is relative to how much you use it. And we're going to mute the, oh, I guess it's first hour. Okay. Now, again, I want to repeat myself. The lower section of the flag, from the base of the flag to about above that pulley, there you are not allowed to have any textures glitching into it or touching it. And it's just, that's the facts. So, because we need to be able to gain access to the flag when we're raiding, and you can't even put a destructible item on it at all. So it doesn't matter. Zero touching. Don't put anything there. Don't put anything with it. Period. No touching in the lower sections. But what's the exception to the rule? Well, you look up above the pulley. So between the pulleys, from the top of the flag to the bottom, so basically the top pulley, the bottom pulley, to the top of the flagpole where the nub is, there is a little bit of leeway and a little bit of play. Now, you're not allowed to stack your flag on the horizontal aspect. You can allow for example, passing a floor through it. So like, let's say if you build a flag and you put a floor across the middle section of it, and so let's show that. I'm just going to put that down right now and right here. So the flag's down, your flag is up there, and as you know, the building section is anything below the pulley. You cannot place anything there. So, but we'll go out here and get ourselves a floor out of our trusty gear crate. We have one floor. We have one wall. So, and I'm going to grab that floor port too, just because. So, and okay, we're back in here. So, now you have your flag down, right? And again, out of example, this is not going to be where my flag is. I would not put it out here at all. It's too dangerous and all that kind of stuff. Anybody can come along and take it. It's easily raidable from all sides, and I want to be able to have it protected. You can put it out in the open, and you can build on it. So, like this. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So, just to talk about the example. So, I grabbed the floor real quick, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. So, as you can see here, the yellow floor is out. It's not constructed yet. But as you also see, at this level, this is illegal. You can't have anything below that pulley. Now, if you do a control page up to move it up, as long as you get it above the pulley, you place your floor like this, that's legit. So that kind of gives you even more of a visual reference to where you want to place your flag and how you want to place your items. But literally, nothing can touch the flagpole at the bottom. nothing. But again, there's some exceptions, and we're going to grab that floor port. But I'm sorry, there's no exceptions for the base, but there is for above the flag. Now, you can put a floor port like this around your flag to protect it. And there are other options, and I won't get into them because there are tips and tricks that I will not give out for base protection and base building. These are things you need to learn on your own. But as you can see here, the floor port is not touching the base of the flag at all, and it gives a nice rounded area of protection. And if you stack them like that, let's take this floor and imagine that floor port right there is the same as this floor. Okay, so the floor is, remember, it's a floor port. It's not a floor right now, but you can stack it all the way up. So you can stack it all the way to above the pulley by using the floor port. Again, I don't want you to get confused, because putting a floor like that was illegal. But if it's a floor port and they're stacked all the way up that high, that's legal. So let me put this over here. Oh, it's already outside the radius. And then we'll get back to talking about flag stuff. Now, I'm going to rotate this over basically by pressing 7 after constructing it and using the Q and E keys. And again, we'll get into more construction stuff in later videos. But as you can see here, I'm going to move it. Now, this is illegal also. You see how the floor is interacting with the flagpole? If the floor is in the flagpole, it is illegal. Now, the idea of it is you want to be able to steal, anybody can come along and steal the flag, blow away parts and so forth, but the base of the flag must be exposed. The whole flag in itself also must be exposed, except for that section that I was talking about, which is from pulley to pulley to the top of the flag, where there is some slight give for building creation. But this is illegal. Even this, where it's halfway through, see how the flagpole and the floor interact as it goes through? That's still illegal. Again, when it comes to also the pulley, at the pulley level, there's a little bit of give right there, but not too much. You don't want to get in the habit of putting a part into the pulley. And again, it's based on the thickness of the base of the flag up to the pulley. So I would always give yourself just a little bit of room, just to protect yourself from admins when they come along and take a look at your flag and go, no, I don't think so. So this is, however, legal. You can stack your flag on either side. And I'm going to imagine this is a floor again because I just happen to have it out. And I'm going to put it out like this. Put it on the other side real quick. And there you go. So now you have the flag in there. What other one? Do I have another floor? Yes, I do. And I'm going to stack it in here like that. And there you go. As you can see, the flag is surrounded. In fact, you can put another floor on this side. And you'll be able to still allowed to do that. So you can surround the flag completely without an issue, as long as it's not touching the floor or touching the flagpole at all the way up. Yeah, it looks like it must be 2 o'clock already. So, just as a recap here real quick, again, remember the thick section of the flagpole is untouchable. You cannot put anything there, all the way up to the pulley. From the pulley to the top of the flagpole has some exceptions to the rules. So, but you can, remember, wrap your flag completely in parts. So let's go ahead and move that away. A lot of people have a tendency of just doing whatever they want and building around it. You can do however you want to protect your flag. It's more than welcome, but again, no textures in the flagpole on the vertical aspect of the flag. No textures interacting with the base. Now I'm going to show you some stuff here in a little bit when I relocate this flag. That is semi-legal, as I was talking about. There is some discretionary aspects to it, but not a whole lot, and so forth. But to talk about the top of the flag, because right now we got it clear, I'm going to move this up here, and it's above the pulley, right? And again, I suggest using the pulley as your medium for deciding how you want to build things and interact things. Now I put that floor in there, so I can literally do it from this aspect to the top of the flag. So this could be like my walking floor. Let's say if you have multiple floors in here, multiple directions, and we'll go ahead and like that. That is allowed crossing it, because what you're doing is you're trying to create a floor around your flag. The thing is, and this is what I've gone by since I've been playing on this server, you don't want to get any more than 2 thicknesses of 2 panels into your floor, at least on the horizontal plane. Now, let's say you're building on a 45-degree angle, and there you go. I built on a 45-degree angle, and it has to do with your design, and let's say that's going to be a rotated design for your flag and so forth. There's exceptions, so, but you don't want to stack the flag. If the design of the base and the design of protecting the flag is too great, then the admins can come along and say no. But in this aspect, like this kind of a design, let's say you're putting an X in, putting a climbing section in, it's absolutely fine. And that same aspect works all the way to the top of the flagpole. But again, you're not allowed to stack the top of the flagpole. That is basically doing the same thing as putting a vertical texture onto your flag. Again, like I said, it's based on design element. I mean, I've used in the past where literally I'll have a ramp going up to the top of my flag, and let's see if it'll do it here. Well, it won't quite do it there, but I have a ramp going across to the top of the flag where only literally the top of the flagpole is shown, and then have like a floor panel through here. Now I've seen, as you've seen in some other videos, where flagpoles have a tendency of being exposed in the box room. That's fine. But just remember the basics. Nothing touches the thick part of the flag, and nothing can go vertical on the flag that interacts with the flagpole. All right, now getting back again, we're looking at the flag, basic rules. We talked about it already. So if this is not exactly the position that you want your flag in, what I suggest then is, let's say like I have here, I have a couple parts down. I'm going to want to remove them, and it's pretty much using the remove function and I think the space bar. Collect up all those pieces. Now there's no pieces all the way around this entire flag. So, well, what's the next step? How do I move my flag? Well, in some aspects, if you want admin help, you're not going to probably get it on this server too often. One, there's a lack of admins. 2, there's a lack of admins that know how to do it. And 3, it's generally because of the function that they threw in makes it easier for you to do it yourself. Now, there are a couple situations where you may need to call an admin to help place your flag. So, but we're going to talk about that in a sec. And so I'm going to go ahead and abandon my territory. As you saw there, I hit the abandon function, hit the space bar. Do you really want to do this? Yes. 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 Now, if you have a greater than a level 1 flag, you will not get a level 2, 3, or 4 flag back. You automatically get a territory flag kit like you saw there, and it starts the flag all over again at level 1. Well, what am I going to do now? Well, this is what I'm going to do. I got my territory kit flag in there, and going to do that. Going back again, sorry, jumping ahead real quick. You want to realize that you're going to lose a flag level, so you're going to lose all that money you invested in. So be really careful about your placement of your flag when you first place it down. So now I'm going to do this again, follow through. I'm going to go to my inventory, go to construct on my flag, and we're going to call it the Godfather's Peasantry. I'm going to select my flag type, and I'm going to hit the setup button, and my flag is going to come up. I'm going to get that warning. I'm going to click OK. Now my flag is in front of me. Now I'm going to move it into the structure. Whoa, what the heck? Wow, it just bounced all over. I guess I'll come back to that. So right now it is kind of stable. Flags can be finicky when it comes to putting them on structures or on anything like this, as you can see. So you want to make it go pretty slow. They do act like a structure at some point, as you saw the concrete floor there pass through the ground. And this time it seems to be a little bit more stable. And what I'm doing is I'm putting the pulley out, and I'll explain to you in a minute why I'm doing it a specific way. Alright, so I think I'm happy with it. It's not bouncing around, it's not saying it's too high, and I'm going to plant it. Oh, I'll see. Now it's already causing a problem here. You cannot build during combat. No kidding. See, the flag accidentally hit me, and it has caused some damage. Now, see, the flag moved away from the back wall here. I have no idea why it did that. It's something that can occur when you're planting. Sorry about that, folks, but the bell decided to go off, and it went off for quite some time. The problem with doing a video around a church or any object that creates noise. So as you can see here, when I planted the flag down, it just jumped over to this location, and every time I seem to touch it, it puts me in the combat. So one of the problems is when built putting a flag in the building of any sort, whether it's outside, inside, that kind of thing, it has a tendency to make mistakes and bounce around. So I abandoned the territory again because I just didn't like the way it was placed the first time down. And obviously this is going to be one of those finicky flag placements. Alright, so we're going to try to configure it. I don't want to turn it. So this time I'm going to put it in there. Walk it in nice and slow so it doesn't interact with anything. Bring up the floor a little bit, drop it down, and I'm going to walk it back into my texture. Now again, see, I'm doing this for measuring, so now that I know that it's not in the texture, I'm going to pull it out at least floor width on the back side, and I keep it lined up with the tile there. Okay, so now I'm ready to plant again. Let's see if it goes crazy. It did a little bit, but it didn't move too badly. In fact, that is acceptable. I can deal with that. Now, if you notice, the flag is kind of at a tilt right now, and it's in a bad position. And this could potentially cause a problem. One of the things about planting flags, not only in buildings, but in general, is that for an entire server, maybe even two, the flag will move. It's been this way for 3 years. It happens for whatever reason. It's not supposed to move, but it does. My suggestion to you is do not set up your flag and put the protecting pieces around the flag for at least 2 to 3 servers, especially if you're worried about it becoming a problem with touching the current flag. Now this is one of those exceptions that come with the thick part, but notice that it is a minuscule amount of thick part that's into the ground. And again, the flag will reset itself straight and will pop up a little bit as well. This is one of those kind of exemptions. Now the whole flag section between here and the first pulley is open to being stolen, and again, you're not allowed to put anything in that thick section all the way up to the pulley. It must be completely exposed and not have any textures in it, and anything above that texture or above that pulley to the top of the flagpole can have textures in it based on how it's being built. Now again, it's at discretion, but for the most part this is a legal flag. It's not touching the texture in the back. It's not in that texture, which happens to be the church doors, which you can't open for some reason. They didn't decide to let us into the full gallery to pray with our greatness. It's not deep in the foundation, so this whole section is exposed. Now again, the flagpole is crooked at the moment, but by next restart it'll straighten out and move a little bit, and then it should be stable after another restart. And like I say, before really putting any protection item on your flag, make sure to let it sit for at least 2 to 3 server restarts. I mean, if you're just going to build a box around it and nothing's going to touch it, sure, go ahead, begin building your base. And again, build your base. You know, don't stop unless you're worried about it going into some textures. And that's why I always suggest, when it comes to any type of building, you want to at least leave it 1 to 2 floor lengths away from any texture that could potentially allow the flag to move into when doing a building or any other structure. And it is seriously important, because if you get caught with your flag in the texture, you're going to be told that you have to move it. So all the work that you did on your base, not for shot. So there you go. So here it is, the flag's in place, and what I'm going to do here, as you saw earlier, since I get a couple wood pieces, I'm just going to stack it. Now, one of my biggest suggestions to you on top of this is going out and getting a gear crate and getting a vehicle, bring it back to where you're building. Now, if you're in a high traffic zone area on one of the servers, then it may not be advantageous for you to do this, because you don't want to attract attention until your flag's safe. Also, you know, be aware of your surroundings and so forth when you're building, because right now I could be killed and someone could take my flag, and you only have 2 days to restore that flag and put up protecting items. So one of the things about a gear crate, though, is that you start off with some tools for your base and everything, and you get some cement functions, you get some crates, and now it's all random when it comes to code blocks, base laptops, mamas, so forth, but this will kind of give you the good heads up start. So, you know, load your axe, start chopping down some wood, make yourself a workbench, and go to town and start building your base protection. So I hope this makes you aware of all the rules that come with MGT. Again, I'm going to go over this. You know, nothing in the thick part all the way up to the pulley can touch that as a texture, except for this exemption, which is this right here, where you're kind of down below the floor. It also has a tendency to happen over here too, but make sure the flag doesn't, you know, get into trees, bushes, or anything. Literally, do not put them in texture, do not put them in trees, do not put them in bushes. But you can put them around bushes and so forth, so, or around trees, as long as the thick part, again, is exposed. So like if you put it over here by this tree, you couldn't do it. No. You can put it over here by this bush or behind it. Yes, you can do it. So, and this is relevant to every area. Now, there, like I said, there is some discretion for it, but then also remember, after your placement of your flagpole, no matter where it is on any of the servers, the flagpole can move up to 3 server restarts. At least from my experience, and I've built probably close to 50 different bases. So again, we'll stop there, and I'm gonna go protect my flag now. And happy base hunting, and happy raiding, and happy times on MGT servers.